Welcome to Trade You for the Fruit Punch, Season 1, Episode 8. We're back after about a week.
After a
We just didn't have a
week-long
lot to talk.
hiatus.
A week-long hiatus. We didn't have a lot to
For
talk about.
some reason, all of the Philadelphia sports, except for the Sixers, have decided to take a week off. Just didn't play.
So we decided to. Ari is still in his prison cell. I am at a new hotel in London with better Wi-Fi,
Hopefully better
clearly.
Wi-Fi.
So there was, before we get into stuff, have you heard of this UFC fighter, Paddy Pimblett? Have you seen this guy?
Oh, is
It's
this
okay
the
if you say no.
crazy Scouse one?
Who this guy balloons like 50, 60 pounds before he fights, and then he loses it in like 8 weeks. And the transformation is amazing. There was this video of him in San Diego, and I don't know if it was from yesterday or from like 3 years ago, but he essentially ate all the food. I mean, all the food. He had tacos, he had brisket, he had ribs, he had, I don't even remember what it was, a smorgasbord of food on his plate. And the guy just polished it off like nothing. And he looked enormous. He had 15 chins. And then he goes in the ring and looks like a chiseled beast and destroys people. I was just amazed by this video. Again, not sure how I found it or where. Probably trolling through Facebook because that's what I do when I'm bored. But I thought we would share a little Paddy Pimblett story because he reminds me a little bit of myself if I didn't have any self-control. Because I would certainly. Oh, he had pizza. The pizza though looked horrible. So we're going to quickly touch on. Look, the Union are in the MLS Cup Final. Ari's wearing a sweatshirt that I got him from Lapstone and Hammer.
Ex not sponsor of the pod.
Ex not sponsor of the pod. We're not going to get into too many details, but there was a save that Blake made. I always want to call him James Blake, the tennis player.
When we were
1-0 down, it was like the 59th minute. They had just scored a few minutes prior. And essentially that was a game-saving save, right?
Yeah.
He lets that in.
The momentum.
Yeah. And so, he's been an outstanding keeper. I think little-known fact was he was almost traded. Like really, essentially the deal was completed. But then he got hurt, and he was going to get traded, I think, to Seattle. And this is years ago, so I'm not telling anybody anything that really would affect anybody. But the story was he wasn't performing very well his first couple seasons in Philly. He didn't like it, wasn't getting the playing time, and they had a deal arranged with Seattle, with the Sounders, and then he got hurt, called off the deal, and it's been, I
think
amazing ever since.
I think he's the greatest goalkeeper the MLS has ever. And I'm not counting washed ass Tim Howard or washed Brad Friedel. Like,
I think you're going a little far.
In the prime of, he's a goalie in the prime of his career who has won the most best goalkeeper in the MLS awards of all time. Like, I think there's a real argument to be made.
So, what's the kid at Man City now? What's his name? Zach
Steffen.
Zach Steffen. You could make a case for him.
Never this. No way.
Well,
absolutely
but
not.
He's in the Premier League now.
And he
you could make a case for a Brad Friedel.
Man City fans hate it.
Brad Friedel started here, if I'm not mistaken, didn't he? And then he went over? Or he may have always been over there.
But again, I'm talking about their MLS career. I'm not talking about you were good enough to make it overseas. I'm talking about this is the greatest goalkeeper that has ever played in the MLS for the prime of his career.
So there's Nick Rimando comes to mind as potentially being the greatest goalkeeper of all time in the MLS. That guy just played forever and was pretty outstanding for most of his career.
If you're watching this video, down in the comments, please have you ever heard of Nick Rimando?
Well,
because you've heard of Andre Blake. Have you ever heard of Nick? Does anyone
Well,
give a
then you're
shit?
not watching the
No.
MLS. I give a shit. I'm not giving Blake that title yet, but he was
Stop
outstanding last night.
deflecting. He is.
And the Union are in the MLS Cup Final. MLS Final? What is it? I don't even know what it's called.
MLS
World
Cup
Series?
Final.
Okay.
That's I think it was Corey
MLS
Burke
World
called it
Series?
the Super Bowl.
Did he really? That's
Yeah,
amazing. He actually scored yesterday too, didn't he? Which is like
Corey
the first
Burke.
time he scored.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, that run was amazing because he has. I mean, I look at him and I think shitty Luke, where like really powerful run, but has the worst touch you've ever seen, and it was
I mean,
just a
that's being
total.
kind to
It was
him.
such a
I look,
bumblefuck of a goal. I loved it
wouldn't you
so much.
like to be shitty Lukaku? Like, come on, that'd be
He is
amazing. Like,
shitty
you'd be
Lukaku.
great. He's even worse than that. He's like,
No,
shitty
he's
squared
incredibly
to the
shitty
sixth
Lukaku.
power, shitty Lukaku. Anyhow, we're in the final. It's next week. We wish the Union
I
well.
mean,
We will be rooting for them, and it'd be awesome if they won it because they have not won anything. We've come close with the Lamar Hunt Trophy. A couple times we went to the finals. And last year we were in the finals of the Eastern Conference, but this is the first time we could win something. Um, so
for this club's inception,
we were, and of course the year that
we've had essentially since they were founded, and we only stopped this year.
yeah, because you went to college. Thanks, Ari. Thanks for ruining it for me
You could have
again.
kept them. I'm
I
the
did
one
not.
who had to like force you to go to games sometimes.
Oh boy. Okay, here we go. I think there's a little bit of
Ari loves
revisionist
live
history going on.
sports. Ari
Ari does,
loves
but
live sports.
Ari hasn't always loved live sports. Let's be honest. It
All
hasn't
right,
always
but
been the case.
the last like 2
2 years.
years,
Okay, good for you. Can we move on? I think we're done with this topic. Um,
sure, we can move on.
so the Eagles finally played again. Ari is now whole. He was a
The
fraction
longest
of
bye week
himself.
of all time.
He was a fraction of himself last week because there were no Eagles games to get all hyped about. And now he had his Eagles game. They played the Steelers, who, by the way, up until probably until I was your age, maybe a little younger, I was a bigger Steelers fan than I was an Eagles fan.
Yeah, but
I
you were also a
love.
loser, so
Oh well, okay. Takes one to know one, but let's move
I
on.
mean, I'm not denying it.
Fair enough. So, first game since the Robert Quinn trade. Did he even play? I don't think he
To be
recorded
honest, I'm
any
not
statistics.
sure.
I don't think I saw him. Now, by the way, when he got out of the car to go to the Eagles practice facility and he's got the receding hairline and he walks with a little bit of like a hitch and he's got like his back, it looks like his back is all jacked up. I swear I was like, did we just trade for like a 47-year-old man? He looks old as fuck. Tell me he doesn't. Did you see this video?
I did.
And you know what I'm talking about. He
I
looks
do know
old
what you're
as shit.
talking about. He
Thank
looks
you very
so
much.
old.
Oh my god. I was like, that is who we traded for? Can he even walk and does does he need a cane? Like that's where I
He
went with
might,
this. So anyhow, longest Ari in his notes that he sent me, he said longest bye week of all time. Now he's only been in the football like 2 years, so you got to take that with a
matter.
grain of salt. He also wrote by BY, and the bye week is spelled BYE. Thank you very much. So you might want to
A
fix
typo.
that
Who gives a
next
fuck?
time. Oh yeah, no, I just don't think you know how to spell a bye week.
Listen, there won't be a
Um,
next time until next year,
it won't.
so we
But
good.
spell it right, BYE. I know you want to talk about AJ Brown because is he your favorite Eagle?
No, what
Okay,
kind of stupid ass question is this? My favorite Eagles are all linemen.
that
You
is
know
true.
this.
Yeah, that is true. But come on, so I'm a position guy. I'm not a lineman guy, but you know what would be amazing though is having 5'10", 120-pound Ari wearing lineman jerseys
I
because
want to.
it's so
I would.
fitting. I, yeah. I'm gonna get you a triple XL in their size though, and I want you to like wear it with a
Kelsey
belt.
size.
I want you to wear it with a belt and no pants on. That's like
Did you see
your
the
that's the
video
outfit.
of Lane Johnson's Halloween costume, by the way?
I did not know. What did he dress up as?
He dressed up as Jason Kelsey.
Oh, did he
He did the
really?
walk and everything. Oh, it was amazing.
Oh, that's pretty good. I like that. Are you doing Halloween tonight, by the way? Tonight being October 31st. Will you be participating in Halloween?
I
Okay.
did my Halloween celebration on Friday night. I mean, I dressed up as, and dressed up as is really strong wording. I up as what I called Nick Sirianni in his pregame presser, also
So
known
you
as
basically wore
I
a
wore
hoodie?
a Philly sports I wear a Philly sports hoodie and jeans and went out.
Okay. That's really sad. I think we're going to have to up your Halloween game next year. We're going to do something. I don't know what it is. Maybe it'll be like a baby shark or something, but we're upping your game because that was weak. So, anyhow, A.J. Brown, 6 catches for 156 yards, right? 3 TDs. Um,
Those three touchdown catches were incredible. I believe
well, so
all three of them were double coverage.
I don't remember. The first one was a little, the second and third, it was almost like you were replaying. Like when you
The
watched the third,
first,
it was like replaying the second, I thought, or whichever one. There were two that looked identical.
the
Um,
second and third were both on the side, whereas the first one was essentially the same thing but more in the middle.
that is brilliant coverage, Ari. Thank you very much. You should work with Romo and
What
Jim
do you
Nance
want
because
from
that
me?
was the first. Oh my God, that was hard. We need to keep you away from the color commentary because that was not good.
I'd be great
The penalty.
color commentary.
So I will tell, like the NFL, and I know they call it the no fun league. It's fine. It's a boring comment,
They
but
call it
anyway.
that. And it's so no.
But
It's so.
that penalty, like, why? It's so dumb, and I don't mean it's dumb of AJ Brown. It's dumb of the NFL to call that penalty. Like, it really just makes no sense to me. Um, I don't
Unsportsmanlike
like it.
conduct should be reserved, I think, essentially only for literal fights.
Well, no, I don't think. Look, if you go after someone's knees or you hit them out of bat, like, aren't those all personal fouls,
I don't
unsportsmanlike
think
conduct?
that's
But
unsportsmanlike.
that might
That's
not be.
more just like endangering.
But I
I
will
don't know
tell
what
you.
the
So
penalty for
you and
that is
I,
called, but
we argued a little bit about this before we started the pod today, and the Carolina receiver DJ Moore, he deserved a penalty. You
no,
do
he did
not take
not. That
you
is
do not take your
ridiculous.
helmet off. No, you
He
don't take your
just
penalty,
caught
your
a game
helmet.
tying Hail Mary.
Okay,
Let the guy celebrate. Like,
let him
that's a
celebrate
huge play.
with his helmet on. Don't
No,
take your
that's
helmet off.
stupid. You should
No,
be allowed
don't
to
take
take
your
your
helmet
helmet
off.
off. It's a fucking
I don't agree.
helmet.
I don't agree. I think you don't. Look, that's a known
You're
penalty.
encouraging the no fun league.
I'm not. I thought that. Look, I
You're
think
the
they're.
reason why it's the no fun league.
That
Because of
might
people
be.
like you.
Thank you. I'll take it if that's the case. Um, anyhow, so Jalen Hurts. Any thoughts on him?
I mean, 425 plus yard throws, 4 touchdowns, all of which were extremely accurate. Like, they were right into the basket. Like, just
So
great throws.
this team, I will tell you, this team is set up for many years. Now, winning the Super Bowl is usually not just about talent; it's also about health, right? Um, I'm just waiting for the wheels to fall off on this team. I don't
Well,
know.
Jordan David,
I don't mean that kind. Like, yeah, I guess the health part is, I guess, easy to witness, right? Someone goes down, you see them, they're not in the lineup, they're backup plays. I'm just waiting for the wheels to fall off and us to lose like 7 of 9. And it's not going to be because of health. It's going to be because the league found us out and now we're playing like shit.
But you
And I
can't
hope I'm
find
wrong.
us out when we have that many weapons.
I know, but
Right? Like,
I hope
because
I'm wrong.
Jalen Hurts has shown accuracy to throw to his wide receivers. We've got the best O line in the league, which means that our run is extremely strong. I think Miles Sanders had 8 yards per carry yesterday. And like Jalen Hurts can run as well. How do you guard all three of those things? Especially
I
when
don't know.
Jalen Hurts has the work ethic that he does. Because yesterday, I think he had a passer rating of 140.6 and essentially had like almost a flawless game. And when he was asked about the game, he said like there were a few sacks I had where I should have gotten out and I should have gotten the ball out quicker. Like that guy, we always praise Tyrese Maxey for having this incredible work ethic. Jalen very similar work ethic of I can always improve even when you think I was perfect.
I don't disagree. I'm just like this team is almost too good right now and they can't keep it up.
So why do you believe in every bad team we support that's proven that they don't deserve it, but you don't believe in the team that's proven that they can actually do things?
Because I'm from Philadelphia and that's what we do. It's that
Except that that's
simple.
not you believe in the Sixers.
Yeah, it's always next year's going to be better. Always with the Sixers. The process of is eventually going to work. Even though I know for sure the process is never going to work. It's like once we fired Sam Hinkie, the process was never going to work. But
But you have the Eagles who have put this outstanding young squad and you're like, they suck. They're gonna suck.
I just welcome to Philadelphia. That's what we do. I'm nervous about this team.
Philadelphia, which by the way, let's just put this out there for everyone listening, has a team in the World Series, a
Mhm.
team in the MLS Cup, and a team that's 7-0. And by
Yeah.
the way, I believe the Flyers are in first place. I don't give a shit, but that's a thing. Literally, the only team that is the team that you believe in most.
So the Flyers are not in first place. They are in third place. But considering where they were last year, that's the equivalent
It's
of like
pretty
winning
impressive.
the Stanley Cup because
There you
last
go.
year they were terrible. I think they've won more games this year than they did all of last year.
That wouldn't
Uh,
surprise me from what I
although
heard.
they started off strong last year as well. It's just too good. Like we're not meant to have nice things in Philadelphia. Like that's just what it is. Like,
Listen,
we don't have
dancing on
nice
my
things.
own has changed the culture. I'm gonna write about this. I'm in a music class in college, for those of you who are listening right now. And essentially we have three acts a song and we write about something related to a prompt. And my next upcoming essay is about a song that's attributed to a social movement. Now at first, I was gonna do something serious. I was gonna do like a me song and talk about the government and racism and shit like that. But no, I've decided I'm gonna write about Callum Scott's "Dancing on My Own" Tiesto remix and the Philadelphia sports renaissance.
Renaissance as opposed to Renaissance.
You heard me.
Okay.
Yeah,
How do you think that
he has
paper is going to
changed
go
the
over?
culture pretty
So
well,
do you know
actually.
who
I think I could
introduced
write
it?
a really good Kyle Schwarber,
Schwarber did, and he used it last
and he
year with the
brought
Red
it.
Sox.
No, he didn't use it. One of used it as his walk-up song. See, I did the research.
You
One of
did
his
the
teammates
research.
used it as his walk-up song to annoy another teammate, but it ended up becoming an anthem for them like it did us now, except they didn't have the success last year that we have this year. But Schwarber loved it so much that he brought it over. He put it on Clubhouse DJ Garrett Stubbs' playlist, and it became the anthem.
Okay. I'm interested to read this paper. I feel like I would be interested because I too would have chosen either a Public Enemy song or a Boogie Down Production song from back in the day. Um, so yeah, okay, it's interesting. I hope you don't fail that paper, but okay, we'll go with it. It's very contemporary, very new. Not the song necessarily, but the idea of the song with the Phillies.
I'll
So
talk to my teacher about
relevant.
it to make sure it's fine, but I like
Yeah.
it's an easy
Uh,
class. I'm sure
Shh.
they're fine with
Don't
anything.
give up the goods. Don't give up the goods on the podcast about easy or not easy. Um, okay, so we've talked Eagles. The Eagles are now 7-0. Um, I'm embarrassed to say, who do we play next week?
The Texans on Thursday.
So really, this
It's
week?
the what if the World Series goes to that many games, that's the one day off that they have. Houston Texans, Houston Astros. It's fuck Houston week.
Okay, yeah. So we do play the Texans, and I believe it'll be on TV here, even though it's at midnight.
Yeah,
They
we're
actually
watching that.
had they actually had like the prime ticket. Have you ever watched football on prime ticket? I don't think
Is
you
that right?
have.
Is that Red Zone?
I think it's Red Zone. Yeah, I think that's what they call
I
it.
watched Red Zone last week during the 1 o'clock spot.
It's actually pretty interesting, right? I don't like how it flips from game to game and you don't get any of the commentary from the sideline or anything like that. So I don't love that part of it, but you kind of get everything you need, and that's what I had on TV yesterday for pretty much.
I don't think I need one game I can focus on.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking also is I don't think it's for me either, but I kind of enjoyed it being out of the country and being able to see a lot of the games. So in short spurts, like the next couple weeks, fine. Much more than that, not so fine. Um, and I don't even think, well, so we won't even be in this hotel next week, and the one we're in next week on Sunday doesn't have prime tickets, so I won't get to see it. So I got
Save
to,
one.
yeah, so I got to watch it for one day. Awesome, fantastic.
Good
Moving on,
stuff.
good stuff. Moving on. We're gonna go with the Sixers,
Sixers.
and so we're 3-1 in our last four. We split games with Toronto, which those back to backs are hard. We beat Indiana,
And you just
shit
knew
team,
the one where Joel was out was the one we were gonna win. Because they
of course.
they always do this shit.
And we beat Chicago. And it's interesting, the bench finally picked it up, right? The bench scored 39 against Chicago in our most recent game. Matisse played 21 minutes and scored all of 2 points. And then the bench scored 26, but that's a little bit off in the Toronto win because Joel wasn't in the game, and so Melton
Yeah.
started instead of Joel, and so it throws things off a little bit. But still, 26 is more than I think we scored in our first 2 games, almost 3 games off the bench, and it's starting to look a little better. But we're beating bad teams. We're not beating anyone any good, and so I'm not
Well,
sold on this
Toronto
team.
and Chicago are both playoff play-in teams. Not according to your standings, but
I think Chicago was
according
in
to
my
mine.
standings, but Toronto
Yeah, but
was like
Toronto
10th,
aren't.
right?
No, they're
OG
11th. You had them
Ananobi, and
fully
did I
out
have them
of the
all?
play-in.
Yeah, no, fuck them. I hate them. Nick Nurse a good coach, but I fucking hate them. And Pascal Siakam, I don't like anything about them. I don't like Fred
Fuck
Van
them.
Vliet.
But like, are we gonna go on a super long rant about the Sixers for a third episode in a row?
If you don't want, we don't have to. I mean, I want to
I
be.
just don't care about this. Like, as long as there are more important sports going on at the same time, or every night, I don't care about this team.
But you do understand that for me, basketball is almost the only sport that I can watch the entire regular season. Now I know you'll watch
I
every
can
football
too.
game now,
No, I
but
watch every
people
game. It's
used
up
to.
on the iPad, but I just like while the World Series and it's on at the same time as Thursday night, and it's on at the same time as like the MLS Cup, and I just don't give a shit. Like that team is not important to me because they suck. They always will as long as Doc Rivers is in charge, and as long as they go 3-1 in a week, he's not getting fired because Maury's a pussy.
Interesting. Not really that interesting, right? I I don't know. I just I love them so much, and I hate them so much, and I don't want to watch them at all, but I can't stop watching. It's like a train wreck. Like when you have the car wreck and everyone rubbernecks and
Abusive relationship. You were talking about
yeah,
a while back, a few episodes ago,
I
how the
was.
Phillies bats are an abusive relationship.
And then they woke up
The
after
Phillies
I called
bats
them
have
out.
been consistent. Yeah, because you were
So
wrong.
no, I called them out and they listened to the pod and they decided to change
Yeah.
things. Like
Uh-huh.
that's exactly what it was. I
Yeah,
mean,
but this is your abusive relationship. This is Stockholm syndrome. You just no, the Sixers they're changed. They're great. They love me. They love me.
right, they want to win for me. Yeah, I mean, I think all Philly sports are an abusive relationship, but yeah, I can't stop watching the Sixers. They're so much fun. They're not. It's brutal to watch them. They're
They're
terrible.
horrible.
The
Oh
ball gets
no, that
stuck.
I mean, it's crazy because like against Toronto the first time, Joel and Maxi both had 31, and I was watching that game, and the entire time I was like, "This is the most miserable I've ever been."
Really. I mean, that's a lot.
It was just awful.
Yeah, I mean, thank God I'm here and I can't really watch the games. I just see the highlights, but they don't really show a lot of highlights because there aren't really a lot of highlights.
Because there's nothing good to watch. It's just
Although
ugly.
I don't even know why I watched the Lakers Nuggets highlights from last night,
Oh, beautiful.
and the crowd like fell in love with Russ last night because he had a decent game for the first time all season. Um, but I think playoff bubble Murray is starting to get his legs back because he had a pretty good game yesterday. I think he's been struggling a little bit, and he had a
He has
pretty
been
good game
struggling.
yesterday. Um,
You know
that's
who
my
else
guy.
has been struggling?
Who? Tobias
Jokic. Has
Harris.
talked about it. The fucking most disrespected MVP time, and the media is absolutely silent when he's putting up triples.
Triple singles.
He had a Draymond. He's had like 3 Draymond Green stat lines already.
I mean, look, this is the narrative of he's a white player and they get the benefit of the doubt, right? And I hate to say it, but that's probably what's happening now. I think he sucks. I
He
think he may
does.
or may not be a cocaine user. Um,
He
but
is.
again, I'm not. I'm not definitively saying one way or another. I hesitate to go that far because I don't know for a fact. But his nose would tell me that he might be. Um, and the only guy on that team, I don't like Maga Porter Jr. Um, the only guy on that team that I do like though is playoff Bubble Murray,
No, you said
and
you
I
like
wish him
Bones
well.
Highland.
Oh, I do like Bones Highland. That's right. Yeah, no, I don't mind him. He's a Philly guy. I mean, does he even play? Who's so? We don't need to go down this rabbit hole of who's like sixth man of the year and who's. Um, I
It's
am
too
still
early.
convinced.
We're not doing
It's
this
way
yet.
too early, but I'm still convinced Tobias Harris should come off the bench.
You're still right. Like, no one's arguing with you.
I think he needs to come off the bench. I think he needs to
Him,
take.
one of them needs to. Like, it's so obvious. They need a better defender, and they need a guy who demands the ball less. And I think Tobias has actually done a very admirable job this year of like adapting to this new role. I think he shoots threes a game now, which is a career high by a mile. But it's so obvious that he's not a fit for this team.
Is he
like you could get the same output
so
from Jay Crowder for like $28 million less.
so is he a fit on any team? Because I feel like he's the kind of player who should be way better than he is. Like he's been in this league for 10 years and he gets star money, but he's not a star player and I just don't
Well, he
understand it.
gets star money because we're idiots.
Well, correct. Yes. We are big
Like
time idiots,
anywhere
but
else, no one else is offering him max money except for desperate Elton Brefter. Jimmy walked.
yeah, that was a mistake. Jimmy would be well, we would never look, the trajectory of this team would be so much different. Um Obviously, I'm not so sure we'd hire Doc if we still had Jimmy, right? Like that may not have happened, but
The
the
problem is
team,
we
like,
wouldn't have
who knows?
Maxey.
Correct. We would not have Maxi. Um, all right. So you don't want to talk too much about the Sixers. I think we can go to Tottenham.
Wait, wait,
Uh, oh,
wait.
oh, oh, sorry.
So first of all, we have to do Simmons watch. Ben
Right.
Simmons
Yeah. So you tell me the best
averaging
one to
a
watch.
monster
Can I take a guess?
6.2.
Oh,
Yes,
I was going to say
6.2
7.7.
points,
7 rebounds and 9 assists.
6.5 rebounds, 7.2 assists.
He fucking sucks.
Hang on, it gets better. For a guy who doesn't shoot jumpers, a monster. 44% field goal, 0% 3-point,
Has he taken any?
47% free throw.
Has
I
he
don't
taken
think
any
so.
3-pointers? Oh, okay. Well, that's
I
why he's
doubt it.
0. So it really should be
Well,
an NA.
obviously, but
Right.
zero's better. And it gets better. It gets better.
How many minutes?
He has a total of 37 points to 26 personal fouls. He's fouled out of 2 games already. And I will just read out the plus minuses of every game he's played. Minus 26, minus 3, minus 16, plus 2, plus 1, minus 11. I saw him airball a layup. That's new. And I saw him refuse to dunk on a fast break where he held up the offense and passed it to KD when he had a single on a fast break. So that's
Can I
Ben
add to
Simmons'
the
watch.
stats? Can I add to the
Yes.
stats? 1.2 steals, 0.7 blocks per game, 2.7 turnovers per game. So he's got
I think he's got a decent amount of turnovers already. Like more than you'd want from your supposedly ball secure point forward/guard.
So do you think the Nets are going to push for him to make the All-Star team? Remember when we did that? Not last year because asshole
When
didn't play
Doc
last year.
called and
2 years
yeah,
ago. Oh, the whining. He was averaging 14 points a game, and they're like, he's the best
and he
point
made
guard in the
it.
league. He did because they all
It was
complained about it.
crazy.
Oh, it was horrible. He didn't deserve to be on the All-Star team.
All right. And then I have one more player watch I'd like to go over. I want you to guess who this
Kyle
is going to be.
Kuzma. It's going to be Kyle
No,
Kuzma.
I don't give a
Oh.
shit about Kyle Kuzma. It's
I
never
love
going to
Kyle
be Kuzma. It's literally never going to be Kuzma.
I don't know who it is then. We don't have time for this shit. Who is it?
So in a game against the Dallas Mavericks, my boy Isaiah Joe came on in garbage time, down 795. And in 9 minutes of play, including overtime, he was a type plus 24. He scored 15 points, including a 3 to send the game to overtime, which they eventually won.
Who does he play for?
He plays for OKC.
OKC, that's right. So
They brought him in
look,
garbage time after conceding defeat, and he brought them to a victory.
all right, I don't want to do an Isaiah Joe watch. I really don't.
Doesn't
Like he
matter.
was a
We're also going to be doing a Charles Bassey watch.
no, like oh come on, we're gonna spend
As soon
15
as he
minutes on
starts
the
playing,
watches. He's
he's
never
around.
gonna play.
No,
Thank God. Okay,
it
no, that we can
took us
continue
like
the Ben Simmons watch.
5 minutes to get through 2 players. We'll be fine. We're doing this. It's not
What
up
does
to
that
you.
even? Is that even a 3 5 minutes? What does that mean?
3 to
Do you know how
5
speaking?
minutes.
Oh, 3 to. I
3
didn't
to
hear the
5
two.
minutes.
I didn't hear 3 to 5. I was like 3 5 minutes. It took us three
All
five
right, bud.
minutes.
Use context clues.
All
Fucking
right,
A.
all right. Here we go. All right. Moving on from the Sixers and from the NBA, we could talk a little bit about Tottenham. I was not able to watch the game this past weekend. They did not have
Really?
it in France. I did not watch it. I saw the highlights though, and then obviously I was at the last two games. And what I saw and what I read, obviously from the last two games, are the same. Like in the second half, we played like Tottenham. Like we played open, free flowing, possession. It was a lot of fun. And in the first half, we played like fucking shit. And
So why
it
haven't we been doing this for 90 minutes, first of all, and for the whole season, second of all? Because clearly it's a bit well.
it is possible. I think we all would agree that Emerson brings absolutely nothing to the table and actually detracts from this team. So I think we need to stop playing Emerson. I think and I Bryan Gil, who I recently said was never going to start a game ever, should maybe start the next game.
It's like I have a good eye for young talent.
Oh, you just
No,
like your young
it's like I
talent.
know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about.
Let's not
Isaiah
exaggerate.
Joe,
Let's not exaggerate.
proved me right. Proved me right. Jed Spence time. Jed Spence time.
I would start Jed Spence actually, yeah. Or I would start Lucas at right wing back.
Lucas is shit. Enough with your fucking Lucas. I'm sick
Club
of
legend.
Lucas Mora. He
So I
is
think
ass.
Ari, now is a great time to turn this over to Cano water. Can of water.
Oh boy.
Don't bottle it. Natural spring water in a can because cans recycle forever. www.canowater.com. That's spelled CANOWATER.com out of the source is out of Austria, canned in, well, I guess it's owned in the UK. Good planets are hard to find. Please recycle this can. Can of water.
We should throw it out. That would be funny.
I do. They don't have recycling bin here. I just put it in the trash. I hope they recycle it. And it is, when it's warm, absolutely disgusting.
Disgusting.
Horrible. It would be so good cold. But it's not. And the best, what's the best? Maybe it's, no, it's not past its expiration. Cano water. See?
There's an
At first I thought it was
expiration
Cano
date
water.
on your water.
Yeah, there is. There's no pH level, though. I really like to know the pH of my water. Like, it's actually important to me because certain waters taste a little alkaline versus other ones that taste a little acidic. And
So
I
you can
just,
tell. So you don't need to know the pH because you can tell
the mouth taste is different. Yeah. No, but I need to know the pH. Like, I want to know it because I think the can is throwing me off on this. Yeah, oh, pH level 7.9, quite alkaline. I think I prefer a more
It's
acidic
not
water.
that high. No, that's not that basic.
Well,
7.9 is almost 7, which is
but
like
water is
right where
7.
you want your water.
No, right. I mean, I think that's what 14% higher. That's decently amount. That's a decent amount.
That's
Anyhow,
actually not how pH works. I think it's actually like I'm going against my own point, but I think it's like 10 between each number.
There you go. What? No, it's not like the. It's not like an earthquake. It's like it's not
No,
that.
I think I
I think
remember
you're thinking.
something like that. I think I
Yeah,
remember something like that.
I think you're thinking earthquakes, Ari. Let's move on
We'll look it up.
because
We'll look it up in between the episodes and prove
yeah,
prove me right or wrong.
I think you're wrong.
I think I am too. It sounds way too high now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I think you're 100% wrong. I think you're thinking earthquakes, but let's move on because you're in college and this makes everybody listening to this podcast so proud of our college students here in
Listen,
this
I don't
country.
take any fucking I don't says.
Okay, let's move on. Tottenham. Brian Heel looks good. Lucas looks great. Brought a little
Lucas
energy
looks
to
like
this team.
shit and you know it. He name me one positive thing he's done in essentially what is it? 135 minutes of football?
Scored 3 goals against Ajax in 2019.
Wow. What's
Scored
he
three
done in
goal,
3 years
goals against
since then?
Ajax, and doesn't matter.
No,
Club
it
legend.
absolutely
He does not
does. I'd like
look.
to know in the 130
No,
played
he
the last
brought
two
what
games,
what
what
I'll
has he
tell
done?
you is he brought a lot of activity to a team that didn't have any against
You
Newcastle.
know who else
So he
brings
played
activity?
Brian Heel. I know.
Brian Hill. You
He's
know
your
what else
favorite.
Brian Hill brings? You know what else he brings?
What does he bring? Skill. I
Actual
like know you.
skill and
Actual
creativity
skill.
to a game. It's almost like just running
By the
around
way,
like a headless chicken,
you know
like I've complained about with Hoybier, isn't actually good for a team.
they could both play at the same time. It's not like one plays
Why
and the
would
other.
you
Like,
want that? Why would you
well, I
want
don't.
that? Where are they both
I
playing?
want to see the Lucas right wing back experiment.
No,
I do. I
Abba.
want to
He
see it.
has no technical proficiency. He is Emerson.
You'd rather Emerson play than Lucas,
No, I would not, but I would rather them both not be at my club.
but they're both at your club. You have no choice on that one.
Do have a choice? It's called playing Doherty or Spence.
No, I agree, and I can't. Why did we not fucking play Spence against Newcastle against those goons? I don't understand it. It pissed me off.
Goons.
They are. They're like 6'5" goons who can't run. It's like the Monstars. Newcastle's the new Monstars from Space Jam, the football version, soccer version, depending on where you're listening.
Football.
Football. So this week we've got a game against Marseille that we have to draw tomorrow.
Hugo called it a final. We're fucked.
Oh, we don't play well in finals. We
You know
talked about
form
that
in
last time.
finals.
Yeah, not well. We win none of them. Our record
I'll see
is
you
the
in
same.
Europa. I'll
Our
see you by.
record our record is the same as Ben
It's Ben
Simmons' three
Simmons
point
3-point
percentage.
percent. I knew where you were going with that.
Yeah, 0.0. Okay, thanks, Hugo. Thanks for fucking us, you moron. He's gonna have a howler and a half too. I feel like he's
Yeah.
been shit lately, and he's just going to let something in like under his arms or
By the way,
something.
can we talk about like I don't want to move on. Really, I want to talk about the fact that we were down 2-0 to Bournemouth.
Yeah,
Bournemouth.
no, I
And if
understand.
we had lost, I would have been interested. Would he have said, well, the quality of the squad of Bournemouth? Very
No, you know
high.
what he would have said? He would have said that the Premier League's quality is very high and any team can beat any team on any given day.
Which
Because
is
guess what
bullshit because
happened?
Bournemouth are literally a championship squad. Like, that is a championship squad.
But didn't Liverpool just lose also? And who said they
To
were cooked?
Forest.
To Forest.
Forest, who bought an entirely new squad. I'm talking about this Bournemouth side, who
Bournemouth
have
is.
literally the worst collection of players I've ever seen in the Premier League.
They have more points than Forest.
It doesn't matter.
I think it matters
Look
a
at the
little bit.
squads.
But I
The
think it
squad.
highlights my point from earlier, from episode 1, even, where I said Liverpool is
But we're not talking about
cooked. Now,
Liverpool.
I say
You're
that, and they're
deflecting.
gonna beat us on. They're gonna beat us on Sunday.
They're
Hundred
absolutely
percent.
going to beat us. Dr.
Hundred
Tottenham,
percent.
Marseille haven't won at home in forever,
Oh,
and
Doctor
Liverpool have
Tottenham comes.
won away in forever.
Doctor Tottenham's bringing its
We're going to
big
have a
bag of
week of Dr.
tricks.
Tottenham.
Oh boy. You know how small Giannis's bag, like that little coin purse that he carries around, like Dr.
Of
Tottenham
course.
has one of those like old school doctor bags, like those big ones that they would carry around with like
Yeah.
every possible solution and medicine and whatever it was to handle, like you could handle gout all the way to like cancer in that bag, like back in the 1800s. Like
But actually, you couldn't anything because they
anything,
didn't have
right?
any
Because
idea of any medicine whatsoever.
right, all they gave you was like basically cocaine and like opioids, even though
They
they didn't
did
know what it
the.
was.
They essentially gave you the drug version of the cold spray. It's just placebo
uh, or cocaine. You know,
or
cocaine.
cocaine.
Yeah, um, yeah. Um, so that's yeah. That's. I mean, Tuesday we're gonna lose. Sunday we're gonna lose. I'm gonna be really pissed off. And then for some reason, like the Leeds game, it has a lot of interest. I think Americans are coming over for that game,
Yeah.
and I just these like fair weather fans, not fair weather, like
I
these new
want.
fans that don't.
Oh boy, are you about to pull a fucking? We shouldn't have the You're an American fan. You're aware of that, right?
Yeah, but I've been following Tottenham since '93.
Doesn't
I'm
matter.
different.
Everyone's got to start
I'm
somewhere.
different.
You're just
I
built
don't
to.
know.
Who? I'm different. Who?
What is that move? You look like a
Who?
putz.
Who?
Please don't do that ever again. You get away with it because you got a hoodie on, but if you had like a t-shirt on, everyone would see those little
Oh,
scrawny arms
everyone
of
would see my
yours.
little noodle arms.
God, you're basically a stick figure in real life. A stick figure who lives in a fucking prison cell. Like that's you right there
They had to
in like a
lock me up for
sentence.
my power.
Oh, please don't do that ever again. You don't even know how to make a fist right. You got your thumb sticking out, like.
Yeah, because your thumbs stick out when you. No, you're supposed to do this because when you punch someone, otherwise you'll break your thumb if you've got them in like this.
Yeah, so you put them inside. You don't stick them out. Like you don't punch people like
No,
that.
this is what I was doing.
Yeah, but you had your thumb out. Like you were like.
I did. I was not going like this. I was
There
going
you
like
are.
this.
No, your thumb was sticking out. Kind of like when you drink your cans when your pinky's out. You putz. What are we drinking today anyway? It's a different drink.
I mean, Jata.
Oh, San Pellegrino, another not sponsor of the pod. We'll
Have
talk
we
about them
had a
later.
not sponsor? Oh, will we?
Yeah, we'll talk about them later. Canned water, canned soda.
Yeah,
Um,
I want to make it clear that this team put together two good halves, and it made me even angrier than before.
it should have made you happy though. Come on.
I
Like
like
that's all you
watching it.
that's all you
So
talk about.
watching it on Wednesday, I was Emerson. It annoyed the fuck out of me because I was like, we're not winning this, and we don't deserve to. And
Yeah.
against Bournemouth, I was like, why are you even down in the? You should have
Do you,
taken it to them from the get go.
so let me ask you a question, right? Like, do you think
Mm-hmm.
Emerson has like naked pictures of
He
Conte,
has
or
to. I've
maybe
seen this explanation. He has to.
no? Or
It's
here's
the
another
only
explanation. I bet
explanation.
you've never heard this one before. So Conte clearly had work done to his,
Uh huh.
and maybe Emerson has like the last bottle of like that special Rogaine minoxidil spray that Conte needs to maintain. And so Conte has to play him. Otherwise, no, otherwise Emerson won't give him the spritz because he's got to do it every day. And Emerson gives him the spritz and rubs it in for him. And
Oh,
if he doesn't play him, he won't hook him up with the spray because they discontinued it in Italy.
I
And
love that
Emerson's
you're
the only guy in the world.
inadvertently. I love that you're inadvertently calling your boy Wigman. which is
No,
one
but
of the slander names that I have for him.
no, but you know what's remember so against Newcastle going into the second half, he put a hat on. And as soon as I saw him put the hat on, I knew we were going to lose because we never win when Conte wears a hat. He loves his hair to be flowing, right? He loves the hair. And when he puts a
He
hat
loves
on,
showing off his fake
he's muzzling the
hair.
fucking hair. And we lose every time he muzzles the hair. And so I knew we were going to lose on Sunday. And then Wednesday, I don't know. We didn't lose. For the record, we did not lose. But when he wears the hat now, Tuchel always wore the hat and won. And Klopp, I don't understand why he wears a hat. Like I don't think he used to
We're
do
getting
that
sidetracked.
at Dortmund. We are getting sidetracked. We do that all the time. Um, so I think now's the time to move on to our favorite team right now. I mean, yours is the Eagles. Mine are the Phillies,
And then it's the Phillies.
and then it's the
They're
Phillies. And
kind of
so
they kind of help each other out though because they seem to always play on the days where the other doesn't play. They're like 1A and 1B for me.
right now, our starting pitching, which got us into the World Series, has been
Has been
a big
atrocious.
pile of dog shit. Horrible.
I don't know what happened.
It's the World Series, man. What do I always say? Sphincters get
Yet
tight.
somehow we won game 1.
Down 5-0. But then game 2 they cheated, right?
Game
It's
1
the
apparently they
Astros.
also cheated.
Right. Well, that's good. Well, they did, but that bat, like, it was because the bat has a safety issue and it splinters.
I
Like,
know, but he
it's not
also
really.
one of the hang on, but 10th inning down a run leaning into that's also cheating, isn't it?
I mean, the Astros are known for that. That's kind of their thing, right? I mean, they're going to go down in history along with Tom Brady and Deflategate as kind of cheaters,
Here's the
regardless of.
thing, right? This they may or they may not have cheated when it came to pitching game 2. I don't know for sure. I don't know the ins and outs of like what looks like cheating versus is actually cheating and all that shit. But for Astros fans to act so like, how dare you accuse us, upstanding citizens, of cheating is like absurd to me. I saw someone say it was like if a police saw that there was a robbery at a bank and then asked a known bank robber, hey, and he was like, why the fuck would you ask me that? Like, it's incredibly obvious why we're pointing. How are you offended by this?
Well, so if this were 10 years from now and they've cycled through all the players and the manager, then I understand. But isn't this the same
These are
exact
the same
team that cheated,
guys.
right? Except for
These are
Springer, who's with
essentially
the
all
Blue
the same
Jays.
guys.
It's essentially the entire same team, right? I fucking hate the Astros. The nice thing is it's the only reason why everyone's rooting for us. Otherwise, they'd be rooting against us. Although if it were the Yankees,
Exactly.
I think any other team besides the Yankees and everybody would be rooting for the AL team. But because it's the Astros and everybody now hates the Astros besides the people in Houston, we're getting the benefit of the doubt, which I like. But we're the underdog, kind of like the Union.
We are
And we
definitely
play
the
better
underdog
when we are. So who starts tomorrow night? Actually, it's tonight. Tomorrow night for me.
tonight.
Well, it's tomorrow because technically it's Tuesday for me. Who
I don't
starts?
I don't know. Because it should be Ranger Suarez, but he pitched out of the bullpen night 1, and it seemed like Rob Thompson kind of was a little ambiguous about it. I would assume it's still him, if I had to guess.
Not. So your guess is wrong.
It's not.
The starter is Thor.
Mm, I don't love.
So I kind of like it. I like that Thor is no longer putting his hair in like a bun. I like that he's just letting it flow. Like just let it ride, baby. Like let it go, baby. You got it long, show it off. I like that. And He hasn't pitched in a week and a half, so he should be well rested. Like he was
But he's
so
just,
game
it's
4.
not a rest issue. It's a, he's just not very good, is he, issue.
No, he's not, but game 4 against the Braves, he was throwing
He looked good
harder
3
than he
innings.
normally does. He pitched, you need 5 out of him. Like that's if you get 5 out of him and he only gives
That's the
up 2 or 3
problem, though.
runs. I mean, this lineup
Thor
is pretty
is
potent.
a, you get 3 innings out of Thor, and that's kind of it. Like,
Well,
you
but
get
if we can
through the
get 5,
rotation once.
if you can get 5, we're doing well. If he doesn't give up multi-run home runs, because he gave up 3 home runs in the game against Atlanta, but thankfully they were only 1-run home runs. Um, who else are you going to start? I like Ranger Suarez out of the bullpen, actually.
I would have started Ranger Suarez. Like, I think you got enough guys in the bullpen that are at least somewhat trustworthy that, like, you can have start. And, oh, by the way, like, you really need him to start.
But
Because
here's
after
the
the
difference,
who were
and
shit, but after the first 2, like, it's a huge drop off,
well,
especially if you take Ranger Suarez out.
so here's why I like what we're doing is I don't think Thor can really come out of the bullpen, whereas Suarez can. And if we can steal this one and we can have Nola and Wheeler pitch again, obviously in the series, and pitch way better, like pitch the way they did up until the World Series, I like our chances. And then I'll
We
win
haven't
fifteen
lost
hundred and
in Philly yet.
$75. $1,575 to my
Good
little
bet.
wallet. $75 for the Phillies to win at 20-1. I should have. I should have. I mean, it's easy. Like Monday morning quarterback, I should have bet the lottery numbers after they came out. But when I could have cashed in that bet for like $20, the Phillies were probably 60-1. I should have doubled down. But they really sucked then, and that would be a dumb bet.
You also should have bet the Eagles, but for some
Okay.
reason you're an idiot.
What were they, like 5-1 though? What's the point?
I mean, if
Who
you could
cares?
have parlayed, I would
Oh,
have
that's just
parlayed like I would have
it's a
parlayed.
disaster.
I actually would have parlayed Phillies Union Eagles.
So I told you I bet Phillies, Union, Eagles, Sixers. I
But
bet
that's the
75 cents
problem.
to win $1,500.
There's your problem.
What?
Fuck the Sixers. They're not winning.
Oh, I know they're not winning though. I should have
But the
actually
other
added the
3 might
Flyers.
actually win. Like,
Yeah, we'll see.
either go all in and go 5 for 5, Sixers out, and go with the 3 that are actually good.
Yeah. Well, it's too late now.
So the Phillies split 1-1 in Houston. They've lost every game 2 except for the wild card series. And they have not lost in Philly yet. Now, I don't think that holds up, but
So I think, but
I mean, it would certainly be nice if they could get it done. And they have not yet announced the national singer. So people are speculating that it's A, Taylor Swift.
Really?
She's a Phillies fan. She did it in 08, I think. B,
I don't think she did. I was there. I don't
I don't
remember
know.
her doing
I
it.
saw a picture.
I don't think she was famous in 08. I think she was like 12.
Either way. B, Callum Scott.
Okay.
And C, which I've seen thrown around a little bit. Take a guess at this one? It's a little closer to
Mill.
home, shall we say. It's a good guess. I've seen Jason Kelsey thrown around.
Ooh.
Who has
So,
sang the national anthem at a sporting event in Philadelphia before.
And I would tell you the reason why it won't be him, though, is because they've got a Thursday night game. He's got to prepare for it. He can't be at the stadium tonight.
That's probably
so
true.
I don't think that would happen. I think we need in a 7-game series. You don't need to win you need to win obviously most of your home games, if not all, but that's not saying anything special. I think we need to go into Houston up 3-2. It's the only way we win this series.
Yeah,
If we're down 3-2, we're done. No doubt about it.
for sure.
And so but I do think, and no one game is like make it or break it, but I do think we need to win tonight.
I
Because if we
agree.
go down 2-1, winning two in a row against this Astros team is tough enough. And now you've got the added pressure of being down 2-1. And I think we'll suffer from that. So
And
I
I
think we
think
need to win tonight.
winning a game with Thor starting, which you've essentially set yourself up for a bullpen game, would be a statement too. Right? It's like we can beat you in these conditions, and we know that they had two bad games, but our aces are going to be available sooner rather than
Right.
later.
So Phillies play tonight for you, tomorrow morning early for me. Game 3. Excited. I think we've come to that point in the pod now where we talk about the
Punch of the week.
punch of the week. Well, should I go first? Well, no, you go first because you're on
I'm
the
on
right hand
this side,
side.
right hand side
Yeah.
of the screen, which we established last week. My punch of the week, Guy Abramovitz.
Really? You're making me your punch of the week?
For hating on the young players that I know are good and being proven wrong. That's what you get.
I don't
That's what
like
you
that.
get.
We are co-hosts on this pod, and I don't like that. I don't appreciate that, but that's okay.
Suck it,
You're
old
young,
man.
stupid,
Suck it, old man.
immature. My
You've
punch of the
literally
week.
called me smarter than you on this podcast, so stupid's a funny one.
Yeah, immature,
Go back through the episodes. Go back through
unsophisticated.
the episodes and find that.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'll back off on that. My punch of the week goes to Carolina receiver DJ Moore for taking off his helmet because he had just
You should have
made
gone with
what
the
could
kicker
have
who missed two chip
possibly been.
shots.
Uh, I went with DJ Moore. Possibly could have been the best throw and catch of the season. And then he takes his helmet off, pushes them back 15 yards on the extra point, causing the kicker to have to kick a 48-yard extra point, which is insane. He missed it. Now he missed another kick. He gets like my junior punch of the week, that kicker. I don't even know his name.
He deserves the full one.
But DJ Moore gets my punch of the week. And so with that, I thank you, Ari. And I thank the listeners for listening. And we will see you likely next week on Monday, Sunday or Monday. We're
No,
gonna.
we could do a Thursday
I don't
or a
think there's enough.
Friday, maybe.
We'll see. We'll see. With me out of
We've
town,
got Sixers, Phillies, and Eagles by that point.
I don't get to watch all these games, so it's a little bit more challenging. I have to base my analysis off Bleacher Report highlights. It's hard.
You should rewatch the games then, buddy.
No, I can't do that. Nobody's got the time for that. So with that, we thank you, and I thank you, Ari, for being with us.